Chaps, while we're here, I do just want you to pick out one moment from the 2019 season that's really stood out for you above all others. Brad, I'm going to come to you first because I think it's an early one for you in Roubaix.
Well, it was definitely Gilbert, but from a personal point, when I was at the Tour at Val Thorens, went to go on telly. It was the first day I didn't do the motorbike because the weather was bad.
And Nibali
was off the front. I love Nibali. You know, he's one of the riders I want to lick his face, and he's the fan in me came out again. I went and stood up on the hairpin and I gave him a cheer, threw his bottle. I had a fight with the Frenchman to try and get his bottle. It was brilliant. That's what cycling.
Did you win?
No.
You beat into Nibali's bottle.
You nipped on the bus down on the final day into Paris, didn't you?
I sort of went down, stood near the buses and sort of waiting for him to have a photo with him, you know? Because we had some big jewels, me and Nibs.
Yeah.
And,
well, I remember you saying that after the 2012
the mechanic used to work at Sky, Igor, I think, came over and said, I said, I'm just waiting for Vincenzo and I can have a photo with him. And he said, no, come on the bus. And then I went on the bus and had a photo with him, and it was just, because I really feel honoured that I was able to race with those guys. You know, I feel like a real privilege. The fan in me's come back out again. I've detached from the person I was and that, and I'm still here. And I've had a lifetime in cycling. I feel privileged to have done that, and those people were part of that. And it's fantastic sport. Like we said, we were saying at the Tour, weren't we, Matt? It's just brilliant to be part of. That we're all still earning a living. When we were talking about sat around that table drinking Guinness with John Tanner and that the day Linda McCartney folded.
Blimey, yeah. I went and signed off.
Yeah, and you went to sign, and then went to Tesco's. I went,
Morrison's, actually. Morrison's,
and here we are nearly 20 years on.
There are
still
other brands available.
Earning a living out of it, you know, and it's a privilege.
Yeah, and it's nice actually, without blowing smoke at your ass, mate. Just, to say, I'm a fan. I love this sport, and we've ridden at varying levels between the three of us. But for you, as a champion of sport, you still got that respect for your rivals, and it was really lovely to see, and I know that it meant a lot to you as well.
Yeah,
because you've had a few years kind of away from it, but to see you get back.
Well, I'm normal now. I'm better. So.
Well, it was just it was great to see.
I think we should all see it as a privilege.
The weird thing is though with Brad is that you speak about you like growing up and Brad and looking up to Brad. When I was growing up, I sent you the picture a while ago when I was like
photo taken with you.
Like 7 or 8 years old. Brad was like junior or 18.
I met your nan once as well.
Yeah, you probably nan, mum, dad, everything. But I looked up to Brad in a way that was like Brad's the pinnacle of the sport at the moment. He was always that creme de la creme. He was the best of the British cycling. And as I grew up with Geraint Thomas, Ben Swifton and Cav, it wasn't like they were like, oh wow, this is them. It was just like what I grew up with.
Yeah, exactly.
So for you, it's a little bit before that time where you go, Brad is who that is now. So if ever, it's more when I come back to the track when I talk about you, is when you talk about Brad, you say, God, if Brad ever got back on the track, he'd dominate everything. I think the road's a little bit different now, but if he ever got back on the track, the way that he pedals, the way that he rides, Ghent 6 day, and it's not just the way that he could pursue, he could do the endurance stuff, it's everything. And I think that's really what shone through to me through Brad and the way that you were as a cyclist, and that's what my generation aspired to be, is to Brad, even though they admit it or not, it was. And I think nowadays it's changed a little bit in the tracks, sort of distance itself quite a lot.
When we had Steve on last week on the show, he's just so unassuming, Steve, and kind of so modest, because we've known him since we were 15. And he used to go and robbing cars in Liverpool and buying. He was banned.
The best thing with Steve,
he was banned
I remember.
from driving. He used to come to the Nationals, ride the points race, go back robbing.
The
cars.
statute of limitation has passed.
Yes,
so we're all in the clear. Well, Steve is.
Beautiful thing with Steve, I remember when I first got introduced to Steve, I met him.
But he has no
dad.
idea what he's achieved and what people think of him. And we sat on the show last week, and he has no idea. But that's so. That's
I think
why
he's still got that car.
That's why he's going to be all right in the future. It's the ones that think there's something they're going to struggle when they retire. We were talking about someone earlier, weren't we, that still don't know who they are.
Yeah.
And it's hard. You've got to detach. But Steve's all right. He's already doing a degree in business and sports management, and he doesn't feel entitled to make a living out of this sport when he retires.
He's totally unassuming, and he giggled his way through it. He was having such a good time on it last week. I think he was just happy to be there in many ways.
But that's like he was saying. We all see Cav as Cav because we've grown up with him, and G and those guys, and the world see him differently. But that's why I can take the mick out of Cav's small hands and his little feet and stuff.
He's got dinosaur hands. Flow like a T-Rex.
Save us with your moment of the season, please. And you were I think you were commentating for this one. I think.
Yeah, I was on site at in Valkenburg for Amstel Gold, and
won by
Mathieu van der Poel
in outrageous.
Yeah, maybe it's the right time to just drop in the Eurosport commentary right now.
This one is going to come down to a sprint. Van der Poel goes. Van der Poel has launched his sprint. Alaphilippe on the right. Van der Poel on the left. Can you believe it? Well, he doesn't believe it. That is the most extraordinary conclusion to a bike race I have ever seen. It's a first victory for the Netherlands since 2001. They're going to go absolutely mental. It's victory in Amstel Gold from Mathieu van der Poel.
If you don't, doesn't matter. But we pretty
That's
much
it, yeah,
all watched it.
yes.
Edit point for you there.
Well played, live
Thank you.
editing.
Yeah, no, I
Real
mean,
pro.
me and Rob Hatch commentated the World Feed. We'd just seen an amazing race in the women's, won by Kasia Niewiadoma, which is spectacular. We thought, do you know what? I mean, the blokes aren't going to be able to top this. And obviously, you had, what was it, Kwiatkowski out the front. Who else was up there again? And Philippe.
Alaphilippe was up there.
Alaphilippe, that's right, fannying about. But with an enormous gap, and we still thought 800 metres to go. But then also there's a few other kind of shots of this little group with Mathieu van der Poel in, and then comes around the corner, 800 metres to go, as we know, and just led out from that point.
Led out his own sprint.
Built it up, held 800 watts, and picked it up to 1200, 13. Only Clarkey could hold his wheel, and it was literally with about 10 metres to go, he finally passed the front group that had already started to sprint, and it blew us away. And I've commentated on quite a few races now, like hundreds and hundreds of races, and been a fan for years, and I've never seen anything like it.
Rob Hatch, who you were commentating with on the day, said that you ended up down on your knees.
Yeah, we were. I mean, I was co-commentator
Not like
that
that.
day, so
There's a few
I wasn't.
sniggers.
Yeah, I mean, I know Rob quite well, but you know, but I was. Yeah, we were like just calling this. It was just the most. Yeah, do you know what? It was a thing of beauty. It was absolutely beauty. It's the way that this cycling. Constantly there's new stories. We think there's a way to ride a race, and like today Mads Pedersen wins. It's like, okay, it wasn't quite as spectacular, but Jesus Christ, what a story, what an amazing story. You know, it's about every race is a different story and a different narrative, and we saw one of the most that was a bestseller. That's going to be, you know,
Have we been spoiled this season?
I think we've been spoiled, but I think, you know, we've been spoiled. But you know what? I think it's just a teaser for what's to come. We've got some of the spectacular young riders coming through, and I think the future of road cycling and just cycling actually is kind of, it's in good hands.
Adam, give us your moment of the season.
There's a few moments, but I think the main one is probably Alaphilippe during the Tour de France. I think seeing him lose the yellow jersey and then regaining it in the fashion that he did. He regained that in a time trial that which no one was looking at for him. So he regained that in a way that was like, wow, where's this kid come from, sort of thing. And I think everyone's had him on his radar for a while and said he can do what he does, but no one ever expected him to go to distance. It only took him to the last day, penultimate day of the Tour de France, where he lost that yellow jersey, and that was that. Then he lost it, but apart from that, strong contention to win it. And
he was
until
never going
that,
to win it, though. He was always going to lose it.
but he was always going to lose it. But I think it was
Yeah.
just
He
the
could-
French hope, and it was always
Yeah,
the
no,
underdog
absolutely.
where
We
you
even
go,
got every day
amazing.
that went past, we were like, is he going to do it? Is he going to do it?
And
It was exciting.
The way he was riding,
Thanks.
yeah.
That's nice not to be able to hold me on microphone actually. But no, that was again, it's another story, wasn't it? It's like, oh my God, he's going to.
And we went and interviewed him that morning in the hotel.
Yeah.
Do you remember? He was like a little 5-year-old kid, wasn't he?
But I think
Yeah.
the best thing is that he still goes for Flanders, like not Flanders.
Oh, the whole
but
season.
the
He won his
whole
first race on the
season.
29th of January.
This is what I
in
mean.
Argentina.
Yeah, exactly. But he didn't win London Classic in 2014.
Unexpected stat from you there.
Just drop
Very
that in the
good.
mix, mate.
Well,
nice one.
That was the one race I rocked.
Alaphilippe, you'll go in the break.